That is the connecting piece, but
But I've seen you post about that a lot, though, about like what were you doing before all this came about? Like everybody is streaming, yeah, everybody.
You are learning our worth, and y'all are scared. So scared that the last thing y'all could do is put in law.
On mute, but I was holding still because my face always tells a whole story, so I was trying to act like I was frozen, but I'm really not. Okay, so yes.
Hello, welcome to another episode of the Besties Building a Brand podcast. We have myself, Alter Ego, and we have Ms. Crystal, the CEO and founder of Go Beautiful. Our mission on this podcast is to educate, entertain, and empower our community by having thought-provoking conversations and just creating a narrative of group economics and showing that we can work together to create cohesive brands where we're all being successful out here in the world. So we have a special guest today. He is the owner of Legacy Consultations. He is not new to the show, but we had to bring him back because a lot has happened since he's been here last. He's the founder of Legacy Consultations. Like I said, it's a credit repair, credit restoration, banking consultation, and business funding business. He has 17 years of banking experience, and due to the success of his business, he was able to leave and become a full-time entrepreneur in July of this year. We're going to bring him on the show, and he can get into the details and catch us up on what has happened since he's last been on the show. Welcome to the show, Steve.
What's going on? How y'all been?
Good.
I've been good. So, Steve, listen, I follow you on Instagram, and every time my notifications are on, thank you, notifications are on. So as soon as you come on and you're like, listen, let me tell you something. I'm like, what? Are you crazy? And then I'm seeing all the comments, I'm seeing all the love and the fire emojis. The fire emojis, those are always great. But a lot has happened since the last time you were on this show. And I can say that myself because I've seen it on Instagram, and I know these are, sometimes social media, they don't give you, the real, but I know you, and I know what you've been doing, and the connections, and people, and the responses that are coming in. So I'm excited for you to let everybody know what the tea is.
And it's key because
it's been crazy.
Yeah, but like our whole mission is about networking. And I just think it's dope that like you kind of embody that. The fact that, your network and, meeting people has helped you plateau. So before you tell us about what's happened, just tell us a little bit about what your business specializes in and what exactly you do from day to day.
Sure. So I had 17 years of banking experience. I still have to get used to saying had and I had. I know what the banks are looking for, how people get funding, and a lot of people that I deal with want funding, specifically business funding. But my company started off just as credit repair. That's all I wanted to do was help people repair their credit. Through that, it grew. And now, we're repairing credit. We're helping people get funded. When people want to know, like, what do I say when I go to the banks? How do I get money? We're talking about that. And I mean, it's just been, ever since my business expanded to that, it's just been leveling up.
And how long?
June of 2021, really, I don't want to say take it serious. I didn't really start working on people probably until August. Between August and the end of December last year, so that's 6 months, my business only made $19,000. I was like, this ain't it. Because my goal was to start the business to, put my family in a position to never have to want anymore, to be able to retire. And I wasn't doing it. So even, I'm gonna say, not even December. So December last year was like 19,000, right? So from June to February this year, it was probably at like 25,000 total, like for the entire 8 months. In March, everything changed, and it's been up from there, which allowed me to walk from my job. I hate talking money. Like, you don't ever see me on Instagram talking money, but in this instance, I feel like I need to like let people know that it can be done and how it happened. But my first 5-figure month was March, and when I say five, it was like barely five. It was like 10,000 exactly. Ever since then, I haven't seen less than 25,000 in a month. What's today? The 16th. We at 36,000, and it's all through the connections. Like, you always hear people say, like, you have to get in a room with people. I think I'm the embodiment of that. When I started, I didn't have entrepreneur friends. I didn't have millionaire friends. Now I'm on the phone with a different millionaire every day. I'm in the room with them at different events, whether we're guest speaking together, whether they're having a class and invite me to come speak, whether we're just out together, just cutting it up and talking. Having those friends kind of propelled my business, and they give me insight, things that I didn't know. Where if I'm talking to my friends that I grew up with, and this is no negative towards them, this is they're not in the entrepreneur space, they're in a different mindset. So I'm talking to them, I'm like, yo, I did 50,000 last month. They're like, oh, well, let's drinks on you, let's go out. When I'm talking to my entrepreneur friends, I'm like, yeah, I did 50,000 last month. They're like, well, why didn't you do 100? It's like, damn, all right. And then they motivate you and tell you how to do it. All right, this is what you need to do. And it's just, getting in those rooms really changed everything.
Well, let's go back to March. You said everything changed in March. So what happened in March? How did you get the connections? Like I said, what we are. And then, like Crystal said, we know you. I know you. You're married to one of my closest friends. And we see a lot of people preach this prosperity narrative, and you don't think it's true. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, they're lying, and you hear it. They're renting that car to post up in front of the car, and we don't believe it's true. But it can happen. So just tell people how you made the connections, what happened in March, what changed, so people know that this is real and it can happen for anybody.
Absolutely. So I was never the in front of the camera guy. Like, I hated it. I hated talking. I hated, making videos of myself, everything. And one of my friends went to my page and she was like, you know what you're doing, but it's just, you're just posting results. Like, people don't know you. They want to see the face behind it. So I'm getting told this for months. I'm still not doing nothing. So then I'm like, you know what? All right, let's try this out. And post a video, just talking. I don't even remember what I was talking about. It was something to me that was second nature, but to other people that aren't in the industry, the bank industry that I was in, it's like, I'm blowing material. And got a great response, but for the followers I had a good response to it. So I was talking to one of my friends. She's an entrepreneur, and she was like, the biggest thing is people they want you to provide value for them. With what I do, there's a lot of people who do credit repair, and she's like, people they want you to provide value, and they want to know what makes you different from everybody else. So I kind of played on that, but the whole banking experience aspect, and I started posting videos. And then posting more videos. And now I'm constantly posting videos. I always, 2, 3, 4, 5 videos a week. And people saw the face. They saw that I was a real person. The biggest comment I get, or the comment I get most frequently is, you seem humble and down to earth and relatable. When I see your videos, I'm like, oh, he's genuine. And I mean, that's what it is. It wasn't forced. I wasn't saying things just to say. And I provided receipts. Like, people want to see that. Like you said, there's a lot of people on there that's capping. There's a lot of people on there that's just saying something just to say, just to make it look good. But you have to provide receipts. People want to see that what you're talking about is real. So I started doing that, and the followers went up, the engagement went up, and then people, big entrepreneurs, started reaching out to me. I'm not reaching out to them like, hey, can I speak at your class? They're reaching out to me, and it was two connections, right? Sonia, the student loan doctor, and Newt, the entrepreneur. I knew both of them prior to me getting into this entrepreneur business, but it wasn't on the entrepreneur level. They were both, one was a client, one was a friend. And, they saw what I was doing. They both let me come on their platform and talk. Through that, I made different connections with, Runway Billionaire, Hod the Billionaire, Calvin, like you said, Nehemiah Davis, Doug Depp, Mika, like the list goes on. And it's like, once you make those connections, it kind of just changed everything. But the biggest thing was putting myself out there, which I think a lot of people are afraid to do.
Yeah, a lot of people, they don't go live, myself included. This is as much live as I will do. And I hate it. I'm still trying to come out of the whole introvert show. I just, honestly, I feel like I'm not that, interesting outside of the people that I talk to, the interview. I just want to help people grow their business. But I see and I hear it all the time. And I'm just happy for you. Like, I'm happy to see the growth. And so I want to just talk about outside of the networking, just yourself. Like, what is your, now that you're not working, you have a work schedule, you got to go when you got to do this. What do you do on a daily basis to keep you on schedule, on task? Because now that you don't have to clock in, you have to be responsible enough to say, let me sit down and do some work. Let me make time for my family. Like, how do you manage your day? And are there any tools that you use to help you manage the day?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is I'm getting more sleep now, because I'm going to set an alarm to get up when I want. So my mind is fresh. But a month before I stopped working, I hired VAs. And the reason prior to I think June is when I hired my VAs. I was doing, when we go away? Yeah, July I hired my VAs. So I was doing everything myself, right? So I was going to work, doing my job at work, coming home, spending time with my family, and then staying up super late doing the credit repair. And it was a lot. Like, it was a whole lot. And I took my family to vacation, right? We all went on vacation for a week. And I had my computer, I had my laptop, but I didn't have my printer. So, with credit repair, the way I do it, I print out letters. So I came back with a week's worth of letters to print out. I was like, oh, this ain't it. Because I love to travel. And I'm like, well, I'm not doing this every time I travel. I got to figure it out. So I looked into it. I hired VAs, and it makes my life so much easier. I hired them. I trained them up the way I wanted them to be trained. Got them to the point where they knew exactly how I did things. And now, they work from 10 to 6. And I kind of just put everything on them. Like, I do the calls because I know that I'm confident in myself. If I get someone on the phone, they're gonna turn to a client. I do the updates. My VAs don't talk to anybody, but they do the part which took me the longest, which was the letters. And my wife will tell you, I said from the beginning, I love talking to people. I love credit repair. I hate doing these letters. And my VAs do them now, and it kind of just freed up my time where during the day, I wake up, I, give my son some time. I take him downstairs, feed him, play with him. Then my wife comes downstairs and I go upstairs from 11 to anywhere between 1 and 2 o'clock. And at that point, I'm locked in. I'm making phone calls. I'm providing updates. I'm recording videos. And that's pretty much my day. I do 2 to 3 hours of just locking in. And then the rest, throughout the day, I'm periodically doing things. But I have the freedom and the time. And I mean, like, before I left or before I stopped working, one of my friends said, like, he loves the money he makes from entrepreneurship. But the biggest thing is the time, the freedom, and the mobility. And I mean, in this last month, I got to spend more time with my family. We got to do more things, and the money's still coming in. So I mean that's probably like the best thing. But hiring the VAs, no one went to scale was like the biggest thing for me. If I didn't scale when I did, I wouldn't be where I'm at, and I wouldn't be able to do the things that I've been doing.
Do you have any books or any tips as far as entrepreneurship to just help people gain more knowledge on becoming successful, like the mindset that you need to have and things like that?
I don't have any books up the top of my head. There are some that I did read, but I don't have the names of them. But it's like tips. You're gonna have to grind it out. Like think about it. Those first 8 months, I made a total of $25,000. That's a little more than $3,000 a month. You're not retiring off of that. I could have quit at that point. I could have been like, all right, this ain't it. This ain't working. It was nice. It was a nice try. You gotta grind it out because you never know when your time is gonna come, when your day is gonna come. I went from hoping I could have $1,000 weeks to having $5,000 days now. And you think about it, it's been like about a year. A year is not a long time to change your life. And I grinded and hustled for that first year to get where I'm at. And it's not gonna happen like that for everybody. Some people it's gonna take longer, but some people it's gonna take shorter. I know people who started off doing their business and within the first couple of months, they were like, oh my God, like this is life changing. And they were able to leave their job. So I think my biggest thing is to not put a time frame on it. Like it's gonna happen when it happens, but you have to put in the work. You're gonna have those sleepless nights. You're gonna have those times when you want to give up, when you want to quit, and you just have to push through and persevere because you could quit on Monday and Tuesday would have been your big break.
Right.
And you never know when it's gonna come. Like you never know, and that's the thing about it.
I have a question. Dealing with credit repair and you with your clients, what is the overwhelming I don't want to say issue because issue make it seem like it's I'm gonna say issue. What is the number one issue that you see that is repetitive with your clients when it comes to repairing their credit?
Patience. people want an overnight fix on something that took them years to mess up. I had one client who I think month 8, like 7 months, we weren't doing much. Like we weren't getting many results. In month 8, a bunch of negative items came up. He's in the 700s across all bureaus, and he stuck with it. Perseverance, patience. I've had other clients who signed up, and in 14 days, they emailing me like, all right, well, where's my update? What happened? How come I haven't seen anything yet? And it's like, patience is the biggest thing with credit repair. The second biggest issue is when people start. So, if your credit's messed up, like it is no secret. I don't know it unless, I see it, but everybody out there knows that their credit's messed up. And I think people's biggest mistake is waiting for an emergency before they start credit repair. They're like, ooh, my engine just went. I need to get my credit repaired. Oh, I need to get a new house or a new apartment. I need to get my credit repaired. But my new favorite one is, I just went to this. I just paid for this mentorship. I was in this class and I was blown away by all the information about how to make money. But you need your good credit to do it. So now I need my credit repaired. Just get it repaired now. That way, when that emergency arises, when your car goes, when when you have to move, or when you go to that to make these moves because your credit's already repaired. But yeah, that's my two biggest things. You have to have patience, and you just have to start it. Like you can't be scared to start.
And so, how do you get leads right now? Is it all like referral based? People are referring you word of mouth. Are you running Facebook ads, paid promo? Like, what does your marketing look like for your business?
My two biggest things are referrals. I think that's probably Instagram. But my biggest thing is doing things like this. Speaking to people's classes. A lot of the people that I'm friends with have mentorship programs. and they'll ask me to come on, yo, can you speak in my class about credit, about business funding, about banking? And I get, whenever I do those, I'll see my followers go up, I'll see my leads go up. And that's my biggest thing. I think I ran two ads in the last year, and I got some leads from it, but I've been doing so well the way that I've been doing it. I want to run more ads, but my goal right now is to get my followers up to a certain level and then run ads, because at that point I get more from it. Right now, I can run the ads. People that are already following me don't need to see the ads, and people that aren't following me, I'm like, well, who's this, right? And you have to see an ad 5 times before you really click on it, before you go into it and indulge. So I haven't ran ads, but I've seen a lot of people have success from it. So it's definitely on my agenda. I have everything, like my plans written down, and the ads are, once I hit my follower mark that I want to get, it's ad time. So y'all gonna start seeing me everywhere.
Okay. Well, yeah, no, that makes sense though. Word of mouth has always been the biggest way to generate sales, because people you kind of break through the know, like, and trust barrier a little faster, because somebody's like, hey, I know this person, you should go. So you're like, okay. I mean, I know with doing hair, that's how I get most of my customers. I don't even hardly post about it. And I'm trying to step away from doing hair, but I'm still getting calls like, hey, I'm like, I don't even, not even taking anybody new. So that's definitely key. Krista, did you have any other questions? I have a couple more.
When we talked about, networking, what would you say was the not necessarily your aha moment, or when you felt like the room that you were in, like, this is it? You know what I mean? Do you understand the question?
Yeah. I don't know my this is it moment, but I want to say like 3 weeks ago, one of my good friends had a birthday party, and he's an entrepreneur. So we get there, we get there late, and we're sitting around the table talking, and it's 8 millionaires, right, and me, and I ain't a millionaire yet, but we just talking, and we're talking about how to make money, how to level up, what worked for you, or what do you do? Well, you had this month, and it was just like, I'm just looking like I'm in the room with these 8 millionaires, and all just talking, and we talk about making money. We're all from the same city. We're all from Philly. There was 5 of us that did credit repair. There was, I think, 6 of them that did real estate, because a lot of them, do multiple things. Credit repair, real estate, and nobody's beefing with each other. Nobody's, in competition with each other. We're all doing the same amount of business and helping each other level up. And that moment was it was like wow to me, because I'm just like these were people who I've been following, who I was looking up to, who now can just call on my phone just to talk. And it was like that moment for me. I was like, wow, like this is crazy. And they all said, like, next year when we all come together, there was like, go be 9 millionaires. So everybody turned to me like, you better be a millionaire next year. And I'm like, all right.
Okay, all right. Pressure. Let's go. I was going to ask you, well, we already know next year millionaire. My question was going to be, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? But outside of money wise, like, what are your plans for Legacy Consultations? Do you plan on expanding into real estate or some other lanes? What's your 5 years?
Absolutely.
Like, next 5 years?
So you remember when I first said, like, I hate to be in front of the camera and talking? Now I can't stop doing it. Now I love it. So next month, me and one of my friends are coming out with a course on how to start, run, build, grow, and market your own 6-figure credit repair business in less than a year. We're working hard on that in the lab, so that's gonna come out soon. I want to do my own mentorship. I've been hopping on everybody else's, so now it's time to do my own. I have the time and freedom now. I want to get into a ton of spaces. I want to get into real estate. I want to get into Toro. I want to get into investing, and I have the network, the people who do it now, who are experts. So I feel like, all right, can't lose. Like I definitely want to grow and expand. I love the credit repair. The banking is just in me, but there's other things that I want to get into, and that's the next goal. The next goal, or the 5-year goal, is to just expand into multiple businesses.
Crystal, were you going to say something else?
I was going to ask him, do you see yourself owning your own bank, opening your own bank?
Ooh, I've joked about it before, like hey, we should open our own bank. I had to look into it. Like I would definitely do it. I would definitely do it. I need to look into like the logistics of it. See the capital that I would need, but that's definitely something that I would want to do.
Because when she talked about, when Khadijah asked you about your legacy and legacy consultation, in my mind, that's just me. I mean, if I'm making, we got a restaurant, it's only natural for me, like, oh, you're going to own a restaurant or whatever. But in my mind, I'm thinking you're banking all your years of banking experience, right? Your training, everything. I see you having your own bank. I just see it. I see it.
Ooh, that'd be crazy. I could put down on the big board.
Right. The banks, it's all networking. It's everyone coming together. You're in the room with millionaires, your investors, right? Making a connection, plugging them in. I see bank. You heard it here first.
Hey.
You heard it here first.
I stay preaching that we have enough, and I'm a licensed cosmetologist, so I'm not knocking anybody. But I'm tired of the hair salons. I'm tired of the barbershops. We need some black-owned banks. We need some black-owned, even something small as like the cleaners. Like, I'm tired. Like, we need some more things in our community. They have one, I think, T.I. and Big Mike and a couple of them, Greenwood or something like that. But you can't even get in the bank. Yeah, we need, I think, One United might be one, too, here in Philly, or United One or something like that. But we need more. We need options.
There's a couple. It's not many. But yeah, that'd be a hell of a move. That's definitely something that I'm gonna put down the board. I'm gonna put down the board for the long goal. It's gonna go on the board.
And it's forever. It's evergreen because it's on the podcast. So don't get the bank and act like you forgot about us. Okay, don't get the bank and act like you didn't hear it first on the show. So since we didn't do our quirky questions in the beginning, I want to ask you a question real quick. 2 questions. If you had to eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Ooh, chicken cheesesteak.
What, Crystal? What about you?
One meal I'm a foodie. You can't one meal me.
You only got one meal.
Lasagna.
Zombie apocalypse. All right.
Lasagna.
And if you had a superpower, what would it be and why? One superpower.
Oh man.
Now you should have this answer. Super speed.
Give me super speed. Like, cause my wife is late for everything. So now we gonna be on time. Yeah, she is. So now
we definitely said 5:30, and it was like 6:45. Definitely. What about you, superpower, Crystal?
My superpower would be invisibility.
Yeah, same.
You want to sneak up on people.
I just need to know what people are saying when you're not in the room. I just need to know what's really
going on. I don't want to know.
I just need to be out. Y'all don't see me. I'm taking a nap.
I hear that.
Did you have any more questions, Crystal, about credit repair or anything like that? Maybe you can give some tips real quick to the people, and Crystal could, because I can't think of any credit repair questions. You know how I feel about credit from our last time.
I message Steve, but I don't say I message him a lot, but when I have a question, because I know sometimes when and I hear from other people who need credit repair, who other people who repair credit slide in my DMs and everything like that. I think that the education part is really key for us, learning how to read your credit report. And how do we? I know I sent you this question the other day because there's a lot of credit reporting companies, third party, like Credit Karma, Credit Sesame, and there's a bunch of them out there, and they all have your score different. So one, which one is the most reliable? And two, are you going to do in your mentorship or in your on your trainings how to read your credit report?
Okay, so to answer the question two, yes, we're going to definitely go over how to read your credit report, because how you going to run a credit repair business if you don't know how to read your credit report? Like, it would make no sense. So yeah, that's like that's like day one. And as far as like which, there's a million different ones out there.
Right.
And like you said, you'll get a different reading from all of them. The reason being, there's like 11 different variations of your credit score. So what Credit Karma says is going to be different from Experian, going to be different from My FICO, is going to be different from Identity IQ, is going to be different from when you go on your bank website and it shows you your FICO score. I prefer My FICO. The reason being, it doesn't just give you your three scores, it gives you your three scores if you're looking for a house, your three scores if you're looking for a car, your three scores if it's a credit card. They give different variations. So I prefer My FICO. But even with that, if you go to My FICO and you're like, oh, my score is a 757, and then you go to the bank, your score might be a 732. Like, it's always going to be different. Because there's so many different variations. You don't know which one the bank's going to pull from. But my thing is, my I guess philosophy when it comes to credit repair is, you want the cleanest credit profile as possible. And I say cleanest, you want the derogatory marks removed. If it's a high utilization, you want to pay that down. You want to get the inquiries removed. You want to give the banks no reason to say no. So my philosophy is just to clean it. Some people are like, oh, well, if you take this off, I'm gonna lose my history. But the fact that it makes you the largest percent of your credit score is your payment history. It's easier to rebuild your score or your report with less negative items. So you want the cleanest report possible. And that's my biggest thing.
I do have a question. I see a couple of people have asked this question and it's going around that to build your business credit, like you get your personal credit can be a 400, but if you can build business credit and get cars and homes and all that kind of stuff. Does your personal credit affect your business credit in any kind of way?
All right. There's two ways to build business credit. There's one that I love and one that I hate. All right. The one that I hate is, you ever heard of net 30 accounts? Like Granger, Uline, all that stuff. So basically with net 30 accounts, you have to have 3 to 5 of them to start building business credit, and you're paying on them every month, buying a bunch of stuff that you may or may not need. So, let's say, you buy a bunch of envelopes, papers, pens, all this stuff. And now your business credit is great. You have great business credit. But when you go into the banks, the majority of the banks are going to make you be a personal guarantor, meaning your personal credit is going to determine whether you're eligible for business credit or not. So if you have a perfect business credit score because of all these net 30 accounts, but if your personal credit isn't there, you're not going to get funding. On the opposite side, if you have great business personal credit and no business credit, you can still get funding. When my business first started, I was 1 week in business. I had no clients, made no money. I went to the bank to get a business credit card, and I got approved for $20,000. The reason being was because my personal credit was where it needed to be. I'm not a fan of net 30s at all. I'm a fan of leveraging your personal credit in order to obtain business credit. That's how I've done it. That's how everybody the circle I'm in, that's how everybody does it. We use our personal credit to obtain business credit. Those net 30s are great if to build your business credit, but then when it comes down to it, where you really getting credit, where you going to get credit from or funding from, is not going to check your personal credit. And if they're not checking your personal credit, your business generating money. They want to see consistent deposits. And there's a few credit cards that do it, but for the most part, you want to get some serious money, you have to have your personal credit right in order to get business credit.
Okay. That's a good tip. Anything else, Miss Crystal?
No. I have net 30 accounts, but I do mine differently though.
How you do yours?
With my net 30 and net 60 accounts with Uline and Granger, I buy if anyone's listening, I purchase household cleaning products and I flip them. I'm just saying. That's what I do. and those
I
build
mean,
up, and then I roll on to like there's the net 30 accounts are tier 1, and then your tier 2 would be like your Sam's Club, your Capital on Tap, Divvy. Sometimes Divvy could be like a tier 2 or tier 3 when you're building your business credit. But Dunn's have like a whole, when you get your Dunn's number and you go on Dunn's and Broad Street or Brad Street, they have like a whole list of tier 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 building up for business credit, the cards you can apply for and how to do it. But I did the same thing when I started building up my business credit and getting in net 30 accounts, believing that I'm building up my business credit. And one of my couponers, she said, oh, that's great. So you can buy it in bulk and you can split it up. And instead of you spending your money to pay it back before the 30 days is due, you'll flip it and make the money back plus some, and then you'll pay it off. So that's what I do, people. But it's just me, Crystal, that does it.
now you're hustling. You're hustling with it. You made a business out of it. That's a business.
Hey, listen, whatever works. That's
That's a
smart.
business. People flip phones. People flip sneakers.
Uline came in handy. Uline came in handy during the whole Panasonic boom, because none of the stores had cleaning supplies, but Uline did. Nobody had toilet paper, but Uline did. I still got that. I still got my 80 count.
So where can they find you? Give them your website information for the people that aren't watching, that are just listening, and tell us, do you know when you're going to drop the course or the mentorship program?
Yeah, my website for credit repair is www.legacy-consultations.com. Do not forget the dash. On Instagram, I'm legacy_consultations. If you go there and click on my link tree, everything's there. My credit repair website, the sign up for the course that's dropping very, very, very soon, and just a bunch of different other things. There's products in there. My guide, I call it the banker's guide to banking. Basically let you know how to secure funds at the bank. From my perspective, from the banker's perspective, just a bunch of different things in there. And I mean, I post daily, different gems, different tips. It just follow me on there.
All right. Well, thanks so much for being on the show. I hope you guys were taking a little bit of notes. I hope you guys are inspired to keep going and to keep pushing and to network. Good night. Network.